Hi everyone! Today's video is about Roman makeup. First of all, Romans were really into hygiene, so they used a ton of skincare products to fix scars, sores, freckles, or wrinkles. One thing they used was almond oil as a face cream, so we're going to start off with that. I'm just going to pour some in my hand. You can come out. Oh, that's a lot. Okay. Just gonna pat it on my face. There's something wrong about this. They actually used this, and this was one of the more tame things they used. Like snail oil was sometimes used, and like placenta. We're not gonna do that. Okay. So we're just gonna rub this in. Oh my god, this is so much. Next we're going to do another face cream, and this one is a little bit more modern than the Romans would have used. They would have used things like animal urine, sulfur, ground oyster shells, bile, stuff like that. That's kind of, like I said, more of the wilder things that I don't have access to, nor do I want to put on my face. The Romans also liked a really pale face because it reflected that you had time for leisure and could stay inside. So basically I just got the lightest and cheapest foundation I can find at the drugstore. The Romans did not have naturally pale skin, so they had to use cosmetics to lighten their skin. Obviously they didn't have modern foundation, and they used white lead most of the time, which is dangerous. I'm not gonna do that. So they could also use chalk powder, white marl, and orris root to lighten their skin and have a pale complexion. And they didn't like freckles, which I have. They didn't like acne, which I have. So I'm just going to put on a really thick layer of really pale foundation. Yay! So we're just gonna blend this into my skin. This is a lot. So now that my foundation is all blended, this foundation wasn't the highest coverage, so next we're going to use some concealer to conceal my dark circles and acne and freckles and stuff like that. So I bought this concealer a while ago and it was definitely too light for me, even in the winter, which is when I bought it. So we're gonna use that again to kind of lighten our foundation a little bit, because nothing whitens like white lead. And speaking of my nail polish, Roman women did wear a sort of nail polish, and it was typically red. It wouldn't have been this dark because it was colored with blood and was mixed with fat, but they did definitely use it, so I decided to pay homage to that. Our base is looking pretty flawless, and since I'm using a cream concealer, a cream blush, I'm going to go to that first before I set my face. The Romans also used blush because they believed pink on the cheeks to be a sign of good health. A lot of the times this was achieved by using flower petals, crocodile dung, red ochre. That was a really common one, but that was really expensive. It was mainly used by the higher classes. Some of the lower classes would use more common materials to replicate this. One of these would be wine dregs. I decided to use this cream stick to best replicate that, so I'm just going to dab a little on my cheeks and then blend it out. Romans didn't like hair on their faces. Really any hair at all, besides their eyebrows and what was on their head. So I did shave my face for this. Alright, we're good to go. So next I'm going to set my face with a powder. and I'm not 100% sure that they did this, but since they did use chalk, I bet that was like a powder foundation. Roman women actually most of the time had to reapply, and that's why some Roman women had slaves to do it for them, and these were called cosmatae, I believe. I'll put it on the screen hopefully. Alright, we're pale, we're here. Next we're going to do eyebrows, which should be a lot of fun. Romans women really like to accentuate their eyebrows and make them really thick and really close together, sometimes even meeting. So this wouldn't be a makeup tutorial without my camera dying, and that's exactly what happened. So we're just gonna move on. I've done my eyebrows, and now it's time to bring them a little closer together. So this ought to be fun. Let's do that. So I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of not mad at it. I'm kind of serving little Frida Kahlo vibes. Alright, it's time for eyeshadow, and this ought to be really fun. Okay, I set my eyebrows and they're all done. One thing I forgot to mention is that what the Romans used to use, and they often would darken their eyebrows with antimony or even soot and then extend them inwards, sort of like I did. And so now we're gonna go to eyeshadow. And one thing that they use a lot of blue and green. I'm gonna go with green because it just happens to match my eyes and skin tone a little better. That was actually came from Egypt, from malachite. So as we can see, the reaches of the Roman Empire were expressed in their makeup. So I'm going to start with this. Let's see, actually, I changed my mind. I'm going to go in with a little brown so everything is a little easier to blend. I've already set with my powder, so I'm just going to work in this brown. I'm not really sure that they did this. I am taking a few liberties just to perfect the end result. So I'm going to blend this brown into my crease. This is a warm brown. Now that's blended in my crease, we're actually going to go for a lid color. And I'm going to take green. We're just going for it. One poet described Roman vanities of having thousands of colors. But again, the most common used ones on the eyes were green and blue. Alright, so now that we have our lid color down, I'm kind of going in a weird direction, honestly. I'm going to mix some olive green and a little bit of a darker brown and put that in my crease. Things aren't looking so bad. I'm going to take this I'm going to take this brush and some of this bright green, and I'm just going to go on my lower lash line. Some of you guys did sort of become popular after Cleopatra in Rome kind of introduced that style. So I'm kind of going for like a little smokier look, just kind of interesting with tying in the green. I'm happy with this eye look, so we're going to move on to eyeliner. And Romans did use kohl as eyeliner, which was also popular in Egypt, as you might know. And they actually kept it in pots, and they applied it with essentially a stick. I'm going to just use an eyeliner pencil I'm going to put white eyeliner in my bottom waterline because one thing that Romans really liked was big eyes. That's what they really like to emphasize. So they didn't do this, but just to kind of show that, I'm going to just to put this white to make my eyes look a little bigger. Okay, so now here comes the fun step. The Romans thought that eyelashes would fall out from too many fun activities, so long eyelashes were a must. They often use burnt cork to darken and thicken their lashes, but I'm just going to use this awesome mascara that really lengthens my lashes, just to show how very gently we are. Okay, we're almost done. My mascara is on. Next, I'm just going to add a little bit more powder to wipe away fallout and just add that kind of light matte look and keep our makeup set all day so it doesn't blend it on our face and men make fun of us because applying makeup was super controversial, even though everyone did wear it. Actually, men encouraged makeup to be done in behind closed doors, essentially. I'm just going to finish by putting on a little bit of blush, just to really accentuate that pinky glow that we're so healthy and lively. So now it's time for the last thing, which was lips. Roman women didn't really use a lot on their lips, unlike in Egypt where red lipstick was really popular. Now, there were some salves that maybe were used for the lips that were tinted also with red ochre, like the cheeks, but this wasn't really widespread. And we don't really know, or we don't really believe how much that the Romans used a ton on their lips. So I'm just going to use some chapstick and a little bit of the same thing that we used on our cheeks, which would be a little bit more historically accurate than you might think. Alright, that's everything. That's all the Roman women used, so I hope you enjoyed. Thank you!